After a significant number of mass shootings in recent weeks, including the latest last night in Texas, President Biden unveiled new executive orders on gun restrictions.
Gun violence in this country is an epidemic, and it's an international embarrassment.
The president announced 6 executive orders on guns on Thursday, and we bring in political insider Armstrong Williams right now to discuss this. Well, the president's executive actions, Armstrong, target those untraceable ghost guns, the ones that you can buy online and build them at home. And he's also calling for community violence intervention programs and then red flag laws that would allow police or even a family member to take a gun away from someone who is in the midst of a crisis. Democrats, they plan to push through these gun laws, but Republicans say, whoa, the focus should instead be on mental health. So is the president threatening Second Amendment rights here, as Texas's governor, Greg Abbott, has suggested? And is there any substantial gun control likely anytime soon in this country?
Melanie, it's always a pleasure having these interactions. You know, obviously, the president means well. How many times have we seen this, Melanie? Whether it was Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and now Joe Biden. We stand, we show these guns, and yet what changes? President Biden and any past administration can pass all the legislation that they want, but it's not going to change. As someone who's a gun owner, who's certified, conceal and carry, have been using guns since I was 4 years old, I can tell you this, most of us are responsible. We use our guns for hunting and pleasure, and often sometimes to protect ourselves. But look, law enforcement, Melanie, can get it right a million times. People like what happened in my home state of York, South Carolina yesterday, or what happened days before, or what happened last week, what has happened in the last 5 weeks. All they need to do is get it right once. You can take all the guns off the street in the world, but criminals, many of these people were felons. They were not supposed to have guns in the first place. They were still able to get guns. What we have to admit is there's something deeper here. Maybe it's in the education. Maybe there's a breakdown in morality. Maybe there's a breakdown in fathers being there for their sons. But obviously, there's mental illness, and there's a lot that's going on here. Talking about guns, talking about knives, and talking about vehicles that was used with Capitol Police, nothing's going to change. We have to admit it. There's not only a moral crisis that we have a spiritual crisis, but we need to get back with these institutions like the church and families and these conversations around dinner table. And we do all we can to save our kids. Your parents can raise 10 kids, but one can go astray and kill somebody. Had the best household, the best parents, but in the end, people make these choices. It's the free will that they have. The FBI have them on their radar screen, Melanie, like they did in Boulder, Colorado, and they still allowed him to go and purchase a firearm and get registered, and he went out to kill. Now, the point you made about if you think someone is a serious threat to society and take your guns, you can call it limiting freedom of speech, but it's just common sense. Because if you know someone is a threat to society, not only are you going to take their gun to save others, because what you see every day, you're going to report them. We've tried all these things. There's nothing new under the sun except this rhetoric. It comes down to the family, the individual, and the choice that they make. And we're not going to do anything to stop it. You can talk about it all you want. It's been going on almost every week. It's almost frightening. But the one thing we should never do is grow numb to it and accept it as this is something we're willing to tolerate. We can't. We must do everything we can, from teachers to priests to ministers to the media, to save and uplift these kids and these adults every day. But in the end, they still can do what we've been seeing over the last 5 weeks: kill people with no mercy and no thought.
All right, we'll have to let that be the last word right now. Thanks so much, Armstrong Williams, for your thoughts today on gun violence and gun legislation. And if you'd like to hear more from Armstrong, watch the Armstrong Williams Show every Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. right here on WJLA 24/7 News.